And now, live from downtown Clearwater, it's time for the Bill Cochran Show. You can call us live in the studio, 727-441-3000 in Pinellas. That's 727-441-3000. Anywhere else, 1-866-826-1340. And now, here's your host. You know him from the Only in America Minute. And, of course, this wonderful program. It is the one and only Bill Cochran.
Good evening, Americans. Happy Mother's Day weekend for all you mothers. Everybody that has a mother ought to give their mother a hug. Maybe today. Give her a hug early. You know, you only have one mother. That's the great thing about America, but that's the great thing about life. Just think if we had a lot of mothers. Washington wants to become our mothers. You know, whether it's a woman or a man working in Washington, the politicians are out of control. They're totally out of control. The government has gotten so big today that they just can't figure out what to do next. The president's not sleeping. I mean, who came back last week? Who came back into the news on Monday? I mean, there was a picture of her on the front page. I wouldn't be able to sleep either if I was the president. I wonder maybe he even hired the same lawyer this week. The same lawyer that represented President Clinton in the Monica case has taken President Obama's legal counsel now. Good timing. Not sure what's coming in the White House. He defended Clinton. Hey, I'm thinking I'm doing the minute report there, Cedric.
Oh. Well,
how much time do I have left?
You've got 1 minute left, man.
Okay, how you doing, Cedric?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
You going to give your mother a hug?
Yes, I will. When I get a chance to see her, I will.
Well, that's good. You know, everybody that has a mother, I mean, our mothers are, you know, some people are fortunate to have really, really good mothers. I was fortunate. I had a good mother. How about yours?
Yes, I've been very fortunate.
Good mothers, and you know, all I do is try to bring a little humor into this world today because you know we need a little chuckle. You know, I mean, why do the politicians got to make everybody feel so miserable today? Because that's what they're doing. You know, we send them up to Washington or up to Tallahassee or even over to Clearwater. You know, and they get to the head. And I could never figure out why we even need mayors. You know, in these big cities. And I'm thinking of Mayor de Blasio. You know, he's down in Washington right now. He's trying to raise $40 billion, $30 billion of it from private people. He wants to build 200,000 units in New York City, and he wants to put the rich and the poor together. Who is he to figure who's rich and who's poor? Is that his purpose today? A couple of weeks ago, he was going to get rid of the horses in the park. He was, you know, and now he's down in Washington, hobsnobbing with Nancy Pelosi. He's sitting in with Schumer. He's sitting in with whoever else will sit in there with him. And probably Rob Ford, the Toronto president, he's in rehab and he's feeling really good, but he might even be sitting in there too. I could never figure out why mayors even exist. You know, I think of Bloomberg and I think of his big thing was, you know, the 16-ounce soda and trying to make people not even be able to drink sodas. And now he's spending over, I don't know how much money, millions of dollars to fight the NRA. You know, that's his agenda now. They want to take guns away from everybody. It's in our Constitution. It says we have the right to bear arms. We do have the right to bear arms. This goes back to the beginning. Now, why do they want to change that? Why do they want to take guns away from people? What is their purpose? I'd say every one of them have guns. I would say every one of them probably have more than one gun. Every one of them have guards with guns, and they probably have wives with guns. But getting back to Monica, you know, we were talking about her the other day on one of the minutes and just trying to figure out what Hillary and her, you know, if they've met, if anybody's been to lunch since Monica's been back, you know, and you know, she was an intern, young girl, and I think she was taken advantage of by the president. But most of the women feminists, there's nobody defending her. Everybody's against her. Just think if that had been, well, I shouldn't say it, but just think if that had been a Republican president that had done whatever he did. I don't even think he knew what was going on. Everybody else does, but Bill Clinton was oblivious. He said there was nothing wrong with that. But in America, as the president of the United States, they're supposed to have some virtues. They're supposed to have some morals. Just because he's from Arkansas, just because he could get away with things like that out there, Hillary forgave him, I guess. I don't think she did forgive him. I think she's a little angry. I think Michelle's probably a little angry. They're probably all a little worried about the whole thing that's going on. But let's change the subject. Let's get into a song there. Number 10. We're going to do a little climate report. Number 10. Anybody want to call in? 727-441-3000 or 866-826-1340 if you want to give us a call. We are a talk show, so we want you to interact with this show. We're on every Friday night at 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and we have a moment report Monday through Friday to get the word out to American people and the local people, and living in the greatest area in the part of the country. It was almost 90 degrees today, pretty hot. So I think everybody ought to get that suntan lotion out and, lotion up, because the sun does get bright and it does create some kind of cancers today. If you don't have skin, especially if you have light skin with the kids and everything, and put the sun.
I got your song. Hey, here we go. I grew up with this. This is one of my mother's favorite songs, actually.
Oh, happy! This goes out to Cedric's mother and all the other mothers. This is a Mother's Day song. Hey, I don't even know what I want to talk about. There's so many things to talk about. So many things with the advent of the computers, smartphones, smart cars, smart people. But we need love. We've always needed love. That's the origin of man, is love. It all gets back to who created us. There is a God in heaven. Yes, there is. Whether you believe it or not, there is. And God loves you. And the last thing that Jesus said on the cross on Good Friday was, John, take care of your mother. How many kids are taking care of your mother? When your mothers get older, how many people take care of their mothers? Mothers need love. Kids need love. Those mothers that you have. I was fortunate. I had a wonderful mother. I had great grandparents too, and they showed me how to love when I was little, because they loved me. The greater part of this whole day, this Mother's Day, is that we have a country that honors our mothers. Not many countries do that. Not many countries in the world are honoring their mothers one day a year. But let's try to do it a little more often. Let's try to be good, especially to our elders. When I grew up, we used to, open a door for somebody when they were coming out of a building, or we used to respect our elders, They only want a little respect, So many things in this country that we have, so many freedoms that we enjoy. Don't let people take it away. Don't let people take it away. Fight for that. Fight for love. Google come out with a car now that is going to run by itself. You're not going to need a driver. Probably a good idea. I don't know if you'll have to have a license to own it, but I don't know who they're going to give a ticket to if they pull you over and there's no driver. I don't even know how they figured that out, but they were testing it up in New York City the other day. They're a couple of years out. They say they're going to have it figured out, and they're testing it in the city of New York, and I hope it doesn't go out of control and maybe get in an accident, because who would get the ticket? How are they going to give them a ticket? It's an amazing thing to see the panic here today with this global warming. The global warming, and I can't believe that climate has become such a big brother to us. We're worried about the climate in America. We need to teach our generation about life. Don't worry about the climate. The climate's going to take care of itself. You can still breathe. You can breathe a lot better in America than you can in a lot of other countries. And Washington's creating a panic now. They say we're in a panic mode. They say we got to clean up our environment. We got to get rid of fossil fuels. Well, who's going to heat the homes if there's no fossil fuels? Who's going to heat the homes? How are you going to heat them? You can't heat them with solar. You can't heat them with windmills. President Obama, he flew to California yesterday. He's flying back today. He flew to Malaysia. I mean, how much fuel do you think that takes to put in that jet, Air Force One? And I don't get it. And it's an amazing thing the way they're trying to make everybody seem like the world is in disarray and we're going to make it better. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, And hey, Cedric, Billy Joel. You got a couple Billy Joels?
Because it's his birthday, right?
Number one, yeah. Let's give Billy Joel a little shout out. I guess we can play his song. Dylan, you can't play his songs, right? Bob Dylan.
Yeah, good luck finding any Bob Dylan songs.
Yeah.
No, I know where to find him. If you need a Bob Dylan, I can get one.
Yeah. Anybody want to call? 727-441-3000, 866-826-1340. Maybe you can get a hold of the astronaut. We might talk to him. We might get a little report from the International Space Station. Yeah. And Billy Joel I loved listening to Billy Joel when I was younger. And he's still out there playing. He's still out there singing, and only 65 years old. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday, Billy Joel. If you're listening, here's one of your songs. He lives up in Rhinebeck, New York, which isn't far from Poughkeepsie, where I'm from. At least that's what they say. He lives on the Hudson River. Kind of the same town that Chelsea Clinton got married in a few years ago. Now she's pregnant with Hillary's first grandchild, Hillary and Bill. They've stayed together after all these years, and there's a wonder to it all. And let's finish that song.
Oh, I know.
We got to be honored, and then we'll go right to the next song when played in the background, number 8.
Okay.
When Bob gets, is he on the?
Yeah.
He called.
I have him holding right now.
All right, let's fade that one out. Go into the other. Okay, put him on. I don't want to hold him. We're holding up an astronaut. Hey, how are you doing, Bob?
How you doing?
We pulled this song up just for you, and we're trying to think about the space, the International Space Station. What's going to happen? And do you think the space program will ever come back in America besides SpaceX?
Well, I tell you, Bill, it's going to be close. Unless they get some new leadership in Washington, the answer's probably no.
Uh-oh. Is that dog in the spaceship with you? I hear a dog barking.
She hears somebody outside.
What's the dog's name?
Sheba.
Sheba, yeah. Sheba's How old is it? What kind of dog is it?
She's a little Cocker Spaniel, and she's a year and a half.
She sounds like she's happy, and
Yeah, she's
and
a good dog.
we have a great man on the phone here who had a lot to do with NASA, and he's tell us a little bit about your background, Bob, so we can tell the listeners we got somebody. We're just not making this up, you know.
Well, I spent a lot of time with AFCO and with working for NASA. We did the heat shield for the Apollo and the space shuttle. So we've been involved in it from the beginning. As a matter of fact, it was quite a program.
And who were some of the what were some of the astronauts that you maybe
we
had met? Maybe you met in your life.
We knew the originals. We knew Glenn and Shirar and all of those guys because we did the heat shields for the Mercury and the Gemini capsules. So we knew all those guys, and they were all great people. Really, down to earth, really neat people to get to know.
What was the when John Glenn went up in what was that in 61 or 60?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was where were you when that happened? Where were you?
Well, we were at the Cape, as a matter of fact. He was riding one of our capsules,
right?
And in fact, that capsule is in the Smithsonian today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were actually watched that lift off.
Yes, we did.
I remember seeing it on television, and I think it was black and white. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and I remember the excitement in our school that day. You know when it did.
Oh,
I mean, such an exciting program, and to see it all just come to a stop the way it did, it just doesn't make any. It's kind of like taking a candy bar from a kid, when you do that and you stop something so quick and
well, they could have kept the shuttle flying, for another couple of years and made a nice transition, but Bush had a program going that used some of the old parts from the shuttle, but then Obama canceled it, and so then there's a big gap between now and the next manned mission, and I don't know when that's going to happen. Probably 2020, maybe, before we ever get something going again. So we're dependent on the Russians, and maybe some of these commercial guys will come through, but SpaceX or somebody like that. But boy, I wouldn't bet on it because it's tough for a small commercial company to really put all the things together that are needed for manned spaceflight.
What about what were the three? When was the first time that more than one went up? The three weren't there three or no?
Well, there was two in the Gemini.
Two in the Gemini. Who were they?
Well, there's all of them. Borman and Anders, and they all flew a couple of missions.
Okay.
And then they got into the three. That was the Apollo.
That was when Grissom went in the lake there, didn't he? The pond.
Grissom. He was he was the second low orbit guy.
Low orbit. He went. Didn't he go in the? Did something happen when they were trying to pick him up in the helicopter?
Exactly. When he landed.
Yeah.
When he landed, the hatch blew.
The hatch blew. Right.
And the capsules took on water.
Uh-huh.
And he almost drowned.
That's what I know in the movie. They had that movie, and I can remember. But I can remember him. It was a sad thing when that happened when he died. When they died that time.
Well, that was in the first Apollo mission.
Right.
But let me come back to Grissom because in the movie they talk about him throwing a switch wrong. Well, they went out and just a couple of years ago they picked up his capsule out of the ocean. They got it off the ocean floor, and when they got it home, they found out that it was a short. All the switches were exactly the way they should have been. So
yeah, because he always said he didn't pull the switch, right?
Well,
he always denied it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's true.
That was true. Yeah.
Anybody that knew him knew that he didn't panic.
He was
he's just not that kind of guy.
And most of those men were fighter pilots or were
they were all test pilots.
All test pilots. Yeah, they came out of the age when everything was just starting to really take off. And the sad thing about ending a program like this space, even though all the good it has done in the world, technology and medicine, the thing about ending it is it's like taking air out of a balloon and just kind of leaving the young generation to think, well, we're done. And that's where we need to rally, around the space program as Americans, because we're the greatest at that in the world. There's nobody better than the engineers we have, because we're a melting pot of engineers that are all different minds, Well,
when we brought that astronaut from NASA to the high school here in Tarpon Springs,
right?
The kids turned out, they were all over the place. They were just ecstatic.
I remember that she was the girl, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and she,
right.
What was her name?
Her Nicole Stott.
Nicole, and
family is out of Clearwater, but of course she lives over there in
Houston.
Yeah,
but she gave a speech. I can remember seeing her at Rotary. She talked, but so interesting, and so she was so proud as an American to be able to do what she accomplished.
Well, that's the thing that people don't appreciate, is how it motivates kids and adults too, to see people in space.
Well, I don't think it's the people, Bob. I think it's these politicians that don't want to see America exceptional. They want to put us in this climate. I know the environment does need work, but they want to make us put our mind on something we can't control. We can't do. We're always going to have pollution. We're always going, because we're people. This has been,
of course.
And yet the space program, you never know where it would go with our generation. So I don't. Maybe let's hope it comes back quicker than 2020. Because 2020 I'll be 70 and you'll be about 60, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But let's not wait too long, because life is short. And tell your lovely wife Happy Mother's Day, and I appreciate you, and give you pet your dog for me, old Sheba. But any last comments, Bob?
Well, no, you're doing good. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, we're trying, and we're just trying and plugging along. And I saw Mike Bellarakis. I think he thinks I've lost my mind. The other day at Rotary, he's kind of shaking his head because he can't figure out what I'm even. He asked me how much money I'm making. I said, I'm not making any money, but I'm having a lot of fun, Mike.
Well,
if I could get you to be my sponsor, but he's kind of. Mike he's a great guy. Great guy. I'm honored to be friends with people like you and him and all our other members.
You're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Yeah,
and to hear this.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Bob, and tell your friends to listen. And God bless you, and have a good weekend. I'll see you next week. Okay.
Take care, buddy.
Bye, Bob. Bye. Let's play number 4. This goes out to Darren in Texas. Maybe you can get Darren. Maybe Darren, he might call. He said he was going to call.
For some newer music?
Yeah, we'll play a little.
This is the Foghat song.
This
right?
is the song to bring our Washington sleepers up to. We got a lot of sleepers up in Washington.
But this is the Foghat song, right? I'm just trying to make sure.
Ride.
I don't know who else does.
Let it ride. It's Bachman Turner.
That's Bachman Turner.
Overdrive.
Yeah,
I think Bachman Turner. You could, if you got it, maybe you didn't load it up. I don't know.
No, I was confused by the song title.
That half hour went by fast.
I know. You could have done 15 only in America.
But that was interesting. Bob is interesting. He's very interesting.
I have never met an astronaut. I've never spoken
he's going to come
astronaut.
down here one day, and you might get to meet him. I'm going to have him wear his suit. He's going to wear that suit he's got, with the big hat.
Yeah.
It looks like a sponge diver. The old suits they used to wear.
Yeah.
Now they're pretty modern. Now we got to wear the Russian suits. The Russians. The only ones the Russians ever used to send up were chimps. They were afraid to send people up. They sent the first chimp up into space.
And the first dog.
Did you know his name? No, that was the Chinese. That was the Japanese.
I thought the Russians sent the first dog up.
What are you talking about? Restaurants? Chinese restaurants?
No, that's cat. I think.
That's the cat. Chinese like dog.
Wow.
That's
you
not.
Just lost all your.
Yeah, but it's
China
true.
buffet
We're only telling
sponsorships.
the truth. If a Chinese man wants to call me and challenge it, I would love to. I've heard this.
I think my dad told me that one time they served him dog in Vietnam.
Yeah, they eat dogs.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a dog, probably. If you're hungry,
it's not kosher.
No, I wouldn't eat one. I wouldn't want a dog. No, I haven't ever. You ever eat alligators?
I've had alligator. It's delicious.
It's delicious. How about
it's good.
Turtles and.
I hear turtle. Yeah, my girlfriend's had turtle soup. She says it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably also not kosher. Not sure.
You want to make a maybe see if you can get anybody on the horn. We're not getting any much luck. I mean, maybe we've run out of. Are those phones working? Did you pay the phone bill?
Yes, we've paid the phone bill.
How you doing, Mike? Is that Mike? How's Mike doing? Did he left his bike here?
He came here to support you.
We got a fan
to show support for
we got
your show.
a fan. Hey, Mike. Yeah, we're trying. I like number. Turn that song off. That's Darren's song. He's not even listening.
I'm trying to get him.
He's not even listening.
I'm trying to get him. I want him to know we're going up to 1978 now.
Yeah, let's play number 9. I like number 9. You know, they play songs all day on this station, so maybe that's one way we'll keep an audience. We just keep the music going anyway. But it's kind of hot in here. You got the air on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can turn it down
the
more.
Air on. It's kind of hot. What song is this? Oh, When You're Young at Heart. Yeah, I wrote that.
Oh, you didn't want
that's it.
Did you want the Sinatra one? I could have.
Who is this?
Sinatra.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I could.
No, this is good.
Jimmy Durante.
This reminds me.
Jimmy Durante.
This
has
goes
a good
out.
one.
This song goes out to Mike and Donald Sterling. You know, Donald Sterling one day wakes up and becomes the most despised man in America. I mean, can you imagine where everybody came out of the woodwork? Everybody came out of the woodwork. Al was there. Reverend, what's his name? Jackson was there. Magic was there. I think Magic must have had a thing for old Don's young girlfriend. And I don't think Don's wife liked him very much. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I wouldn't be too excited about contracting the HIV virus.
Well, you know, this guy was a smart guy. You know, he's a lawyer, and he says he's not going to sell his team. He said, I don't care if they give me $1 billion. I don't care if I don't have to pay a penny taxes. It's the principle. They never should have been taping me. And, you know, he might file a lawsuit against the NBA. That would be a funny story. Monica disappeared. The Somalian boy disappeared. The stowaway. The one that did the tape over in Benghazi disappeared. What do they do with these Americans? How can you take Americans? How can you put Americans to silence? What's happened to our country?
Mike has it.
What's happened to our country?
They're in the 777.
Well, some people think that, but they're being restricted from their freedom of speech. It's a very serious issue when government can do this. I mean, you talk about people doing things against our will. I don't know. I don't understand it. But if anybody wants to call, 727-441-3000. And so what are you doing Mother's Day? Cedric, are you working? Or?
Yeah, I'm working.
Oh, you got to work?
I'm working.
I thought you were closed, the studio.
No, please.
We're
open. We're open for business 24/7, 365, and then some.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We got to get a hockey report tonight too.
Okay,
maybe
we'll get
the hockey and let's keep some music going because I like to talk with the music in the background. How about 7? Number 7. I'm not allowed to say the name.
Yeah, because it ruins the surprise.
Ruins the surprise. Everybody's wondering what's number 7. 777. This is a 7. Goes out to the 777. That's a big plane. Oh, remember yesterday? Remember when things were a little simpler? We don't have to go back too many years either. Maybe just to 2007. Things were a little better. From 2008 to 2014, it seems like there's chaos in the country. Everything's at a standstill. Do I blame the president? Yeah, I do. To a point. Hey, you got to blame somebody. That's what we do. You know, we like to pass blame. And I think of yesterday, I think of the presidents that we did have in this country. I think of George Washington. Yeah, they're painting George Washington into a crud. Probably the greatest president that ever lived was George Washington. I'd tell any teacher that. I'd tell anybody that. because that's my belief. Those men could have died for what they did to establish this country. The British, they killed people back then. Why do you think they have no coming into your house without a warrant? Because the British would come right into the house and they would stay there. They would make the women cook. They would make the women do whatever they wanted to do in the house. So in the Constitution and the amendment and the Bill of Rights, it says that that warrant must be given before anybody can come into a house or a building or a car. Are we going to give them back rights like that to be able to go against our Bill of Rights? Are we going to let these judges change the Constitution? Are we going to let people change what we've been established in for over 200 plus years? I hope not. I think not. We better not. Because if we do, there won't be any more radio. There won't be any more cable. There won't be any more Google. There won't be any more Yahoo. You know what it'll be? It'll be like Russia is becoming again. Russia was okay for a little while, but now we've got a man in Russia on a power trip marching across the Ukraine so that he can establish his own power. Russia was given Ukraine after the war. It became a communist nation. But then, in the 80s, Ukraine became a free nation, free from Russia. Putin makes it seem like he's out to help the Ukrainian people. He's not. He's not. He's not out to help the Ukrainian people. What he's after is more power. 98% of the grain and the wheat that feeds Europe comes out of the Ukraine. 98%. He's a power-hungry man. He's a power-hungry elitist. He walks across the world like nobody else matters. America is better than him. America is stronger than him. America is the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest armed forces. He was showing off his nuclear stuff yesterday. Wow. Wow. But we have a president. We have an administration with a Secretary of State named John Kerry who agrees with a lot of the things that Putin's doing. At least that's what he sounds like. He doesn't seem to care. I know President Obama is concerned about these 300 girls in Nigeria. I understand that. But what about the 300 million Americans right here? You know, there's 7 billion people in this world. 7.3 billion people in this world. Why does America got to be the ones that have to clean up the climate? Why has America become the ones that have become this global cleanup people? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to follow those laws that the government wants us to do if I can help it. But we need people to stop it now. And you have a right to stop it. You're not doomed. The country's great. You're not finished. As long as you can vote. You can't vote in Russia. You can't change in Venezuela. You can't do things in a communist nation. What do you think happened in Cuba? It's going to happen in Mexico. It's going to happen all throughout South America because Russia is the one that got Castro started. Do you remember? People my age remember the Cuban Missile Crisis when Khrushchev said that he would crush us. He would crush us. We are the greatest country in the world. We are the givers. We're not the takers. We're the ones that have always been out there helping other people, establishing governments. We rebuilt Japan after the war. We rebuilt Europe after the war. We can do anything as Americans. Why do we let the politics get in our way? Why? Let's play number 5. Let's get a Jimmy Durante. You know, the funny thing, we got a guy in here on Saturday named, what's his name? Buddy
Verdi.
Buddy Verdi. I mean, I met Buddy Verdi last Saturday. And you know, the guy was a veteran. He's probably pushing, late 80s, but here's a guy that was a veteran. He was in the Navy. He took my father over to Guadalcanal on one of their boats. The Marines hitched a ride over to Guadalcanal, the Solomon Islands, and they were dumped off over there. And most every one of them died over there. My father got shot in the leg. He survived because of that. My dad never talked about it, ever. He was only 59 when he passed away, over 30 years ago. But I'll tell you, he was a hero. He loved my mother and us kids and built an airport. In a year, my father built an airport. He accomplished things. You can do the same thing, Americans. You have the opportunity to be able to become better if you want to. But you got to want it. Because if you don't, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Ask a Cuban American. Ask somebody from Venezuela. Talk to somebody from Hungary or Russia or any of these other countries in China what it is to be like a communist. You talk about a slave. That's what you become. A slave to the community, to the leaders, to the elitists, to whoever wants to take over this country right now. I don't know who they are, but I'll tell you one thing. In my life, I've seen it change. I've seen it change a lot in my lifetime. And I don't know who's behind it, but I'll tell you one thing, Americans, you need to find out who is behind all this, and you need to make some change. And you know how you can do it? There's an election coming up in November. Just vote. I don't care if you vote Democrat. I don't care if you vote Republican. I don't care if you vote Libertarian. But vote. Get out there and vote, because it doesn't cost you a thing to vote. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's one of the greatest rights that you have as an American citizen. And yet most of you don't. Most people don't vote. They figure, well, let the other guy vote. So the ones that do vote, they're the ones that are getting their way. They're the ones that are getting away with everything. They're the ones that are making all the laws. They're the ones that are, changing and taking away your rights. And don't complain if you don't vote. If you don't want to vote, don't change. Don't talk. Let's talk about New York City a little bit. How about New York State of Mind? Let's give him another shout out, old Billy Joel. Hey, maybe he's here. Maybe he came to Clearwater Beach for his birthday. I would. I'd go over there to the Sand Pearl on the beach, and if I had his money, yeah, that's where I'd go. I'd have a car pick me up at the airport, come down on my jet from New York, fly out of Westchester County. There's Cedric, there's more corporate jets in Westchester County Airport up north of New York than any airport in the world. Hundreds of them, hundreds of jets. General Electric used to have about 60. Maybe they have 100 now. You ever fly in a little jet? A Learjet?
No. The smallest plane that I flew in was a Fokker 100.
What is that?
It's
you flew in a corporate jet? Small jet?
No. It was a smaller airline. It's similar to an MD-80. If you're familiar with the MD-80-80 class. Sort of looks like a small 727, 2 engines in the back.
Okay, but it was a commercial.
Yeah, that's the smallest thing I think I've ever flew in.
Yeah, I went in a Learjet one time. Quite a jet, Learjet. But what do you think about the global global climate. What do you think?
Climate change?
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm not old enough to really have that much experience, but nothing really seems to have changed that much in my lifetime. I've seen hotter summers than the last few summers. I sweat a lot less than I used to. Heck, I used to sweat more when I was a kid. I don't know, man. I think things might be changing slightly here or there, but I don't see any immediate threat to humanity. How about that?
Well, there isn't. I think you're like probably 90%. It's only like 3% of these environmental people there's about 3%. Most of these percentages are very small in the scheme of things, and as far as I'm concerned, there's not a lot of, the things that we're for, these few people that are against, and it's like this de Blasio up there, he's worried about all these different programs he's got. He's only been mayor of New York City for a few months, and he wants to transform that city into what he thinks it should be. And that's not right, that's not right because, the city under Giuliani was cleaned up, and was good. Now he's going to change it back if he doesn't watch out to where it was before. It's my feeling. I don't know. We're not getting any calls tonight, I guess. So I think maybe
Well, we have one holding.
Oh, we do.
It's Avocado.
Okay, I'll talk to Avocado.
He's holding.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's still there. He's been holding for like 2 hours. He's been. I've had him stuck on hold for like 2 hours.
I didn't know that.
That's okay.
Maybe he's got another song for us.
He's used to being stuck on hold.
Yeah, stuck in New York kind of mind. Is he there?
Hello.
Hey.
I can't sing.
Another song? Where you got the flu?
Yeah, I think he caught the cold that I had the other day.
How you doing, Tony?
I'm working on a song.
Yeah, almost.
I gotta stand up.
I'll just skip to the end.
I don't.
He's still working on it.
Let's keep working on it, Tony.
When he called in like 2 hours ago, he didn't even have the first two notes, so he's getting there.
Well, that's good. There. Is that with your guitar?
That's with my guitar.
Your electric guitar.
It is.
Well,
that's my guitar.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what this note you passed me says. A wise man, who was it, once said, I'm paraphrasing, people are more likely to surrender their rights and freedoms peacefully through a through a corrupt government than under coercion and duress. What do I think? Well, that's probably true. It's probably a lot of true. A lot of things are in the media today. The media is talking about, the media. I tell you, I watch Diane Sawyer sometimes, and and I always liked Dan Rather and them, but they've gotten so far to the off the track of there's no bipartisanship. It's all like one agenda. One agenda is for bigger government, more spending, less not spending. They have all these people on the TV that are just out there now. Fox News has come along and they've made a big dent in pushing back to a point. But the president, when he labels Fox News as his enemy and things like that, I mean. I don't ever remember Bush saying ABC News was his enemy, or that NBC News, Reagan, I never remember them saying that, or even Bill Clinton, But this President Obama, he's always knocking Fox News, and his press secretary will say things about, he'll demean the people that are from Fox News when they interview him, and it's a shame because. The president's supposed to be kind of for the people, and all he is really a man that's sent up there to protect our country from being invaded by outside forces, basically. He's not supposed to write laws. The laws are written by the Congress and the Senate, but the president here he's like Obamacare. He's changing the rules of Obamacare and using his executive powers, which were never supposed to be given to a president to abuse like that. He's abusing his powers, and it's a shame because he's making the presidency into a kind of a mockery. He's making a mockery of the presidency. Hopefully in 2 more years we'll get a different president in there. I know we're going to get a different president, but maybe their views will be a little different, and everybody thinks Hillary's going to win by a landslide, but I'm not buying that. I think she might have a hard time winning because she's had it. She's had enough. I don't know if she can handle being president.
You know what I think Americans are getting tired of is this running the same candidates. They're talking about Mitt Romney's going to run again, or if not Mitt Romney, then
Right.
Jeb Bush. So we're going to have another Bush running,
Right.
or another Clinton running, or God forbid, who was the guy who had the sex scandal last time with his wife was dying of cancer, John Edwards. I mean, the same old names over and over again. I mean, like that's what happened with Obama. If you think about it, the reason why Obama won was because it was a name that nobody had ever heard of, and everybody is like, okay, we'll give that guy a shot because they were sick and tired of the same people we've heard over and over.
I think a lot of it also it had to do with the fact that he was the first president of color that was ever elected, and I think he had a good campaign, and people were tired of Bush, and they were tired of all the problems. And maybe if he wasn't running for president, it might have been maybe Hillary would have won then, back then. But he beat Hillary, and he took her apart in that campaign. And he's ruthless, and she's pretty ruthless. Like that statement she said, "What does it matter?" I mean, to say something about where people lost their loved ones, and she's making a statement like that. And if she can be unwind like that and not be president, what's she going to be like as a president? Is she going to be able to handle it? And then if her husband gets into another little, whatever. I mean, look at here's Monica back in the news, and all of a sudden she turns up, and and everybody picks on her, but she's an American too. I mean, she's got the same rights that Hillary or Clinton or president, any of them have, because we're Americans. We're supposed to have the same rights as people, and it's a shame.
All right, Tony says he has the insides. He called back. He hung up and called back to say he has the inside scoop about Hillary Clinton.
Uh-oh. Okay, Tony.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's the whole plan. They're in it together. The Clintons and everybody, because they just said we're just gonna prime. We're gonna get Hillary primed and ready for 4 years, and then she's gonna take over. And then it's okay if he cuts me down. It doesn't matter. Whatever he says about me. And that's the plan.
Well, that is the plan. Well, she was supposed to win 8 years ago. She was supposed to be put in there. So it's probably her turn, I guess. It's kind of like she's going to get the torch passed on to her, right? That's what it sounds like.
What do you think of Jeb Bush going in?
Well, I'd rather have him. I'd rather have anybody than Hillary.
Right.
Jeb Bush is fine, I think. I think he's fine.
That guy with the scandal was Mitt Romney, I think.
Yeah,
Edwards. I was talking about John Edwards.
John Edwards. I'm sorry.
John Edwards had the problem with,
Mitt Romney's biggest scandal was when there was a report that came out that he didn't know how to screw in a light bulb.
Wow.
That was pretty bad.
I tell you, he saved those Olympics. He's a smart man too. I think a lot of it was that he was a Mormon, and a lot of people didn't vote because they just didn't want to vote. They didn't think, so they figured they didn't. If more Republicans had voted, he might have won. He did put on a pretty good campaign, I thought. But we're gonna see. I hope it's a big turnout. But that's not for 2 years. Right now, we got to get through November. That's the big thing, getting through November and see who goes in there then, and if there's any change after whoever does go in, Republican or Democrat. We have to have a balance of checks and balances up there in Washington, but they're out of control. I mean, $17 trillion debt is you never would have heard of that in our lifetime, right, Tony?
Right.
It's amazing.
I'm just saying, it's totally unbelievable.
It is. Well, thanks for calling. We're going to wind down now. This hour went by real quick here. Take it easy, Tony. Have a good weekend.
It was a pretty informative show.
Yeah. Let's wind down with how much? What I keep thinking it's the 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, you do. Now you have about 3 minutes left.
3 minutes. Let's play number 6. I like that song.
Number 6. That's
Darren,
this will be very relaxing.
This goes out to Darren out in Texas.
I called Darren.
That's
I left
all right.
a message with him.
Yeah,
I said,
he don't want to. He's got to call us from now
I said,
on.
Darren.
We're not going to beg. We're not
Well,
gonna
I'm
beg.
trying to seek his approval. I said,
No, but
Darren.
we're not going to beg.
I left him a message. I said, Darren, we're up to 1978.
Yeah, I'd rather talk to you, Seti.
Oh, thank you.
Seti. Can I call you Seti?
That's what my mom calls me.
Seti? Really?
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to your mom. Does she listen to us? Gotta get
She
her-
could be
I
listen-
I
she
need
does listen to the
maybe
station.
she could give us a call.
My mom
441.
3000. My mom does listen to the station a lot.
good.
In fact,
Maybe she'll call.
it's her first. It's the first preset on her car stereo.
That's why we played her favorite song.
Oh, hang on, somebody's calling now.
This
Hang
goes out to all the mothers. This is probably Rob. Oh, all the mothers. Let's listen to that song. Only in America. Only in America can you hear a song like this. They can have them. Russia and the Hungarians and the Chinese and all those songs. I don't know many of them. And Venezuela.
All right, we got 2 minutes. It's your
Mexican.
it's your good buddy Rob.
Oh, Rob. Okay, leave the song on. We'll close it out with Rob again. We'll just let him talk till we're over. Hey, Rob, we're going to talk to you out. Why do you always call me so late? What do you do? Eat dinner?
I just got my call. My phone was upstairs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We didn't interrupt your dinner, did we?
No, I haven't eaten yet. No, I'm good.
You know, a lot of people would pay big money to be able to talk on the radio every week like you. We're going to make you into a star. You're
Hey,
our.
listen, I want more respect and get more time here, Bill.
Hey, I respect you, Rob. Believe me, I respect you. I do.
Nobody else in my house does.
I respect you, Rob. And give us a little hockey report. We might, if we cut you off, it's only because we're running out of time. But go ahead, give us your hockey report for tonight's game with the Rangers. Your favorite team.
What's it now with the Rangers? Pittsburgh's up to. Is it 2-1?
Yeah, the Rangers are 3-1 now.
Oh, it's 3-1 with the Rangers.
Yeah, but they say they're going to come back tonight. That was St. Louis said that. St. Louis.
I thought Pittsburgh was up 2 games with New York. It was 2 games to 1 or something. I thought
it was 3-1, but maybe it is 2-1. You should know. You're the hockey expert.
Mike says 3-1.
It's 3-1, Rob. Hey, Rob, where you been, Rob?
I'm liking last night. The Bruins coming back in overtime and beating Montreal. To be perfectly honest, that was good for me.
That was good. Yeah, that was.
Now they get the home ice advantage again, so it's looking better than it did the other day.
Yeah. And now, what about your mother-in-law? Did you wish her a happy Mother's Day?
Well, yeah, that's another story.
Okay. Wish your wife a happy Mother's Day too, because it's Mother's Day. Don't forget, it's Saturday. It's Sunday. You know that, right?
She's not my mother, but yeah, we're covered over here.
Well, the mother-in-law. But what about the hockey report tonight? What's going to happen? Do you got any?
I got Pittsburgh winning tonight. I tell you what. I think Crosby. Maybe he'll open up tonight. He might get a couple goals. He doesn't do well in the playoffs. He works hard, but he's over. It's in his head right now, and he's got 1 goal in the whole. But he's working hard. He's in the corners. So I think tonight he's going to maybe get a couple goals.
Okay, well, I hope not. I hope it goes 7 games because I always like 7. It would be good to see New York come back. It's 7 games, but. Maybe St. Louis will come up to the plate tonight like he didn't do for us in the Tampa Bay Lightning. He let us down. That's the problem.
I'd be going for New York right now. I'd be going for New York.
2 minutes.
But I can't go for them with St. Louis on the team. I got to go with Pittsburgh. Get St. Louis on the team. I don't want to see him win a Stanley Cup.
All right, wait a minute. Your time's up, Rob.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Hey, Rob, have a good weekend. Next week we'll call you. I'm going to keep you right on here through the playoffs. Okay. Every Friday.
Sure, Bill. Sure you will. Okay.
No, I will. I'm serious. I want you to be. You're my expert. You are an expert. I believe. I was telling Cedric you are. I know you know more about hockey than most hockey coaches. So, but and I mean that.
Maybe I should have went into the coaching. Okay, Bill. Have a good weekend.
Okay, you too, Rob. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Okay, I got a minute left. Wind down.
Well, you have until the end of the song.
The end of the song. I know this for perfect. I feel like it's. Yeah, we're doing that only in America, so listen to us on 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, and we do that. Cedric and by helping me with the engineering, and we're trying to put together a show that is entertaining, informative, and makes you laugh, makes you cry, but makes you think most of all. because we want to see this country. We want to stay free. I mean, I don't care what party you are, but I tell you, it's nothing like living in a free country. I've never lived any other way. So, and most people from my generation, actually everybody in this generation, so far have lived free. Let's take this country to a point where people in the other parts of the world will look at us like they used to look at us. Let's take this country back a little bit just to move forward. Nothing wrong with back there. Nothing wrong with it. Great country. Happy Mother's Day again to all the mothers in the world. God bless America.
WTAN, Clearwater, Tampa Bay. WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay. WZHR, Zephyr Hills, Tampa Bay. Listen,